Hello everybody, my name is Clentus and welcome to Clentus Dubagute, my YouTube channel. So I know it's been a long time since you and I seen each other, since last we saw each other, English. And so if you don't know what has been going on, you can go to my True Crime YouTube channel. I have a full video there where I explain, where I'm explaining my absence on YouTube, and I think on here I can just say the other part of my absence here on YouTube is due to work. Maybe I did say something. I can't remember if I did say something, but work has gripped me since the beginning of February. Usually that kind of business always happens around May, June into July, but this year it kind of grabbed me early in the year, and as a result of that I have been absent from YouTube, even though I started continuing with the uploads of YouTube shorts, and most of the shorts that I was uploading, they were from my travels. So if you've been following me, you would know that I would be in one province, the next I'll be in another province, and in another province, and so on and so forth. But I believe things have now died down at work, and as a result I am back. But on top of that, I also had a very painful loss. It's like a double painful loss in the family, and that also kind of like threw me off, and I was almost unfunctional or dysfunctional, I think that's the word. And as a result of that, I just felt like, oh my goodness, why this is happening. I thought 2023 was going to be the best year. I still believe that 2023 is going to be the best year. However, life happens. But I do not want to bore you with all of that. Let's get into today's video, because today's video is highly requested topic on my DMs. Many of you are growing your YouTube channels, and your channels now have started to grow to beyond the 5,000 subscriber mark, and you are now getting what you would call sponsorship proposals. So now many of you are caught off guard because you didn't think that this opportunity was going to come this early. So you came to me seeking advice, and of course I had to do what I always do, go down the rabbit hole and start digging some information so that I can come back with tips for you on how to get sponsorships for your YouTube videos. So the first tip that I want to give you is the fact that you need to improve your numbers on YouTube. In most cases, if you are going to have, and I'm not saying that if you have 100 subscribers, sponsors are not going to approach you, but if you want to make serious money, then you would definitely have to improve some numbers on your YouTube channel, starting with your subscribers. Even though subscribers don't play a major role when it comes to sponsorships, because sponsors or brands or companies, the first thing that they are looking for, or their number one goal, is eyeballs. The more eyeballs that your channel has, or more eyeballs that your Instagram page has, or more eyeballs that your TikTok has, the more sponsors come and approach you for sponsorships. Like in any company, if you are not going to have the eyeballs that they are looking for, they definitely are not going to come after you, because coming after you to sponsor your YouTube videos or your Instagram page, they are going to make a loss. So in order for them to make some profit, you need to also prove it with the numbers that you've got on your YouTube channel. So in most cases, once your YouTube channel hits 1,000 subscribers, even on Instagram, once your Instagram start hitting 1,000 followers, this is when you're going to start receiving DMs. Perhaps somebody say, hey, let's collaborate. I have a new product or new services that I would like you to engage with your audience with. But this video is on your YouTube channels that are getting such opportunities, and you are kind of a little bit like, wait a minute, I am at 1,000 subscribers. Why am I getting these brand deals coming? Why am I getting these sponsors coming my way? That's because once you hit 1,000 subscribers, even myself with over 2,000 subscribers, I do get sponsorships. But hello, I'm also business minded. There is no way that I will take a sponsorship with the numbers that I have on my channel, because all I'm going to be doing is making a loss, while the company or the brand that has approached me will probably making some decent amount of money from the little views that I have. But I'm not saying that I do not want to work with any brand or company at this point, but I'm just also trying to think logically to say, if I say, okay, let's collaborate, how much exactly are you going to pay me, versus if I had, let's say, 5,000 views or 10,000 views or even 100,000 views. So let's be a little bit business minded when it comes to that. So that is why I am not currently taking any sponsorships for my YouTube channels right now, because I feel I still need to grow my channel to a satisfactory level that even if when a brand or company comes to me, they would be satisfied with my numbers, either to promote a brand, either to promote a product or service. So do not be discouraged at this point in time if you are not being approached by sponsors. They will come, trust me, they will come. So the third tip that I'm going to give you is, sometimes if brands are not approaching you and you are ready to start collaborating with brands and companies, and then you can take it upon yourself by approaching these brands. Now, how do you approach these brands? Because this is very important, how you approach them. And secondly, the type of language that you are going to use when you approach these brands and companies that you wish to work with. So the first thing that you will have to do is create an email list of brands and companies that you would like to collaborate with. The best place for you to get these emails is to go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a variety or a plethora of emails and websites that you can go to of companies that you would like to work with. So once you get to LinkedIn, you go to the search bar and then you type the companies or brands that you would like to work with. And because you are on the search bar, it's also important that you type in the right keywords that are going to lead you to these brands and companies that you would like to work with. For example, you type marketing manager for company or brand, or you go to the marketing public relations social media manager or department, and there you will see a list of these companies coming up, and then you can create yourself a list of those brands and companies. Or better yet, you are a YouTuber, and it's also important that as a YouTuber you build relationships with other YouTubers. And many of these YouTubers that you may be approaching, they themselves have worked with a certain brand or a certain company that you one day would like to work with. It's so nice when you approach a YouTuber and say, hey, you know what, I'm trying to put together an email list of brands and companies that I would like to work with. I noticed that you worked with brands so and so. I would also love to work with them someday. Would you mind if you shared their email address so that I can also approach, basically ask them to collaborate with me in one of my videos? If the content creator is not selfish and a gatekeeper, they will definitely say, sure, here you go. And they might even give you some tips how exactly to approach this particular brand or company, or they might even give you tips about the company or the brand itself, the things that they're looking for, how you need to present yourself, etc. and so on. And someday when you have worked with these brands and companies, and another YouTuber who is probably smaller than you approaches you in the future, please pay it forward and also do likewise as it was done to you. Don't be a gatekeeper. Tip number 4, once you have collected all these emails of brands and companies that you would like to work with, it is time to sit down and start drafting a proposal for them. Write them a letter write them an email that sounds quite professional. Do not try to be complicated, because once they do not understand what you are talking about, definitely your email is not going to be paid attention to. So you want your email to make an impact on the marketing manager of that brand. Tip number 5, make sure that your email, the proposal that you are sending out to these companies or brands, it is short and concise and straight to the point. Do not try to write a thesis, because once you do that, you will confuse them and possibly confuse yourself as to what exactly is your goal or what is your purpose of writing these brands and companies. So the shorter your proposal is, the better. And also try sound as though you know what you are talking about. Brands and companies want to know how they are going to benefit from you. Hence, it's very important that when you are actually approaching them, you also don't use a line like, hey, would you like to sponsor me? If I was a brand or a company that you wish to work with, I would say no thanks. Be smart when you are going to write these proposals. Tip number 5, in your proposal, write a sentence, not a paragraph, as to why you would like to work with that particular brand or company. Because at the end of the day, these brands would like to know why they should build a relationship with you as a content creator on YouTube. Tip number 6, your proposal must not sound generic, meaning that it must not sound as though this is the same email you sent to all the other brands and companies. Please be individualistic about these emails that you are going to be sending to these brands. Tip number 8, once you have done your research on these brands and companies, do not make the mistake of giving them your rate yet. Even in your proposal, do not add your rate, how much you are going to be charging them. I will let you know later in this video why you should not add your rate in your proposal. So in no time, brands and companies will start responding to your email. Probably some will say, okay, let's have a chat. Some will say, no thanks, we are not looking to sponsor any YouTuber at this point in time. Do not think that every email you are going to send out is going to come back positive. Even if it does come back negative, do thank them for responding to your email so quickly. So what are the basic rundown of how sponsorship work? So there are 2 types of integrations on YouTube. The first one is ad reads and the second one is dedicated videos. So let me explain what I mean by ad reads and what I mean also by dedicated videos. The most common one that YouTubers get is ad reads. So what is an ad read? An ad read, it is where a brand or a company will say to you, hey, we would like you to shout us out on your YouTube video for about 30 seconds to 90 seconds. So that is an ad read. Now, a dedicated video, which is the second type, it is where a brand or a company will say, okay, create a video in its entirety. You are going to be promoting a product or service that you guys have agreed on. So that means if you are going to be doing a skincare routine, for example, that means that entire video is going to be dedicated on that particular product, probably maybe a facial wash or a mask or something along those lines. For ladies, maybe it's a weave, how you put on the weave, how you clean it, how you do all that sort of stuff. That entire video is called a dedicated video. So by a raise of hands, how many of us have seen ad read on videos? I definitely have, and I'm sure you also have, where you've seen YouTubers shouting out a brand or a service of a brand or company for 30 seconds to about 90 seconds. And usually, like I said, many YouTubers, this is where they make their bag or secure their bag, as it's said out there on the streets. Ad reads are more easier to create than dedicated videos because a dedicated video can take forever. And another thing about a dedicated video, the brand or company might not necessarily like the video or the way you created the video or some things that you did not include in the video, and then they will send the video back and say, hey, do a revision here, we were not satisfied here, blah 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 blah, versus where you are doing a shout out for a service or a product. Well, this is up to you should you be approached or you get accepted by a brand or a company that will collaborate with you. So the most important question as a content creator who will be probably getting these sponsors is, how do I rate them? That is the most scariest question that many YouTubers, most of the time, is because they're unsure how to rate their services to these brands and companies. Hey, like I said, I went in a rabbit hole and I came back with some tips that you can utilize in rating these brands and companies. So the first thing that you are going to do is calculate the average views on your YouTube videos on your channel. Number 2, you are going to multiply all of that by 20 or 30 to get yourself a good estimate. And therefore, that should be your flat rate when it comes to ad reads integration. Number 3, as for dedicated videos, you can multiply that by 3 or 5. Sometimes some brands and companies may add a percentage of profits from affiliate links that you may have agreed with them when you've done some negotiations for the sponsorship. However, though, it's also important that you sit down and consider when a brand or a company says, hey, I would like to collaborate with you. However, we would like to offer you an affiliate link, and that is how you are going to make your money. Now, this one is a little bit sketchy if you are interested in making money. However, if you do have a very large following and your engagements on your videos is large as well, having such a brand deal or a sponsorship, it can actually make you a lot of money. However, if you are a small content creator on YouTube, I would not advise you to take an affiliate link type of sponsorship, because chances are people might like what you are promoting, but not necessarily they are going to buy the product or take up that service that you promoted, and as a result you are not going to make the type of money that you wish to make versus if you did an ad read integration. So number 4, once the brand or company has responded, or all the companies and brands have responded, please do sit down and reply to the response and thank them for responding to you so quickly. This shows that number 1, you are professional. Number 2, you are serious about your business as a content creator, and you are also serious about securing the bag. So in your response, then those that would like to collaborate with you through a sponsorship, then go ahead and ask them their rate. Some of them would have asked you for your rate in that response email. Ignore that. Oh, pretend as if you did not see them asking you what are your rates. Rather, you ask them, what are your rates for me to do this sponsorship? Now, the tactic here is that if they respond with a high rate, guess what happens? You would make some extra cash. So you see why you should ignore or pretend as if you did not see when they asked you about your rates. It's best when it comes from them. So do not be afraid to negotiate. And I want to make a disclaimer on this one. The moment you get a contract, I'm not giving you legal advice here, but once you get a contract, I'm encouraging you to go through it and make sure that when you go through the contract, you comprehend the words and jargons that are going to be used in that contract. If you feel like you don't understand the contract, then it is best that you approach a lawyer who is going to give you legal advice based on what the contract is saying. If you are satisfied with what the brand is saying or promising or agreeing with you in this contract, then you can go ahead and sign it. However, though some brands and companies do not send out contracts, I would say if they don't send you a contract, ask for one, because at the end of the day, you need to protect your interest and also protect yourself from anything that might be amiss about the agreement in your negotiations. So tip number 7, once you have signed the contract out of your satisfaction with the contract, then you can go ahead and start delivering. You have got to deliver as per the agreement on the contract. So the agreement probably was ad read integration or dedicated video. Make sure that you understand these terminologies when you are sitting down or going back and forth with a sponsor, whether they are asking you to do a dedicated video or they are asking you to do an ad read integration. If it's an ad read integration, it's just a 30-second shout out. If it's a dedicated video, that means that entire video you are talking or promoting the product or the service of the brand or company that you are collaborating with. So you will have to start filming your ad read. That's the first thing probably you would do when you're filming a video on your channel. Probably you will start with the ad read where you are doing that shout out before you integrate it into your final cut of your video. And then you send the video to the sponsor for them to have a view of it. Sometimes, like I said earlier on, a sponsor might say, okay, we were not satisfied here. Please make revisions here and there. or review this part and that part of the video. Some sponsors may say we would like the first 30 seconds of your video. Some may say we want the middle part of your video, others towards the end of your YouTube video. It is all going to depend on the negotiations and what you agreed there. So this is the part where you really have to show your professionalism, show that you are serious, show that you are a businesswoman or man as a content creator on YouTube, so that this particular brand or product will feel comfortable approaching you again to collaborate with you. These are the sort of relationships that you are going to be building as you are going to be growing on YouTube, because sometimes when you do a great delivery, the brand usually comes back and say, hey, we liked it the last time and we got and then we liked the engagement that the video got, and as a result of that we would like to collaborate with you again. Professionalism is very, very important when you are going to be doing these type of sponsors. Please deliver on time, because there are deadlines as well that needs to be met when you are going to be doing sponsors. So make sure that on the deadline you have delivered. Otherwise, you are going to be creating yourself a very bad reputation. Well, finally, I guess my biggest tip I will give you is that before you even approach a brand or a company, research them. Make sure that the company or brand that you want to collaborate with is legit. The last thing that you want is to find yourself embarrassed or compromise your channel and your reputation by promoting questionable services and products such as Ponzi scheme or pyramid schemes. Do not embarrass yourself. Do not find yourself in a very compromising position because you wanted to secure a bag. And another tip that I also want to give you, do not feel guilty that your YouTube videos are getting sponsors. Yeah, because there are some people who don't like to see you making money with the videos that you are making. However, it is also important that you make a disclaimer. I like when people say, hey, this video is sponsored. That means as I'm watching, there's a high chance that this YouTuber will be making money out of my eyeballs. So just make it that sort of disclaimer in the beginning if you want to. I'm not saying it's a must. You can even put in your description box and say this video is sponsored and you'll be making some sort of cash out of this video and things like that. But it's not necessary again, but I've seen some YouTubers do it, especially those that have like affiliate links. I think also that has to do with the fact that you will have to pay some taxes, and basically it's a disclosure to the taxman that you are making money on YouTube. But anyways, it's all up to you how you do this. But I would say be careful what sort of brands and companies that you take on board on your YouTube channel. The thing is, some people don't understand that being a YouTuber, it is hard work. It's almost like a full-time job because it takes a lot of work to create a YouTube video. The research, the sitting down and filming, the editing, and more editing and description box and all that sort of stuff. By the time people watch a 5-minute video, they don't know that you sat for 5 to 6 hours creating that particular video. So taking sponsorships, this is a way of saying, hey guys, I deserve to get paid for all the hard work that I'm putting in. And with that said, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will definitely see you next time with another video where we are going to be talking about the 4,000 hours of watch time. Why is it decreasing, and how you can stop the decreasing of your 4,000 hours of watch time after 365 days. That's another question that I keep getting asked about. So we will deal with that in my next video. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. I would also highly appreciate it if you shared this video far and wide. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you are going to be getting sponsors and how you are going to be approaching them. Are you going to take this advice? I'll highly appreciate it if you did, because I think it's going to help you. And I will definitely see you again with a new video. Goodbye.